Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome to Fight CPS with Bob Pace this afternoon. This is a live stream that I do 3 times a day, and it's broadcast around the world. I reach out all 50 states, and I talk to 30 countries right now. I've talked to all 50 states and 30 countries. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the child protection system. It's a government entity that was created by an act of Congress in the 60s. And in the 70s, they created some laws. And in the 80s and 90s and the 20s, they're trying to enact the laws. But what's happened, I'm afraid to say that CPS has gone sour. The child protection system isn't how it's supposed to be. 50% of the individuals or the government entities are corrupt. That's really hard to say, but 50% of them are. Now, this is a live stream where you can interact. There's lots of ways you can interact. One, you can post a comment. When you post a comment, all I ask is you put your name, your first name only, and the city and the state. If you're outside the United States, put your country. Put your country. If you want to put a province or like Australia has states, that's good too. But if you're outside the US, I need the country. That's really important in the city. And you're welcome. I'm here to talk to all people that are involved with some facets of CPS, meaning either you've been alleged you've done something wrong, or you had a case, or your friend, or whatever the case may be. I've talked to over 2,600 people I've talked over the last 2 years and 5 months. And I'm glad that you found this place. I did have one person in the room, but then they disappeared. I don't know what is happening, but hopefully this is working okay. It says I'm live, and hopefully someone else will come in here, and the time ticker is going. So there is a time on this live stream. It's only goes 1 hour and includes a short video at the end. That's pretty good. You'll like this video. Anyway, I have 8 rooms that feed into this video. Now, the 8 rooms, there's 7 from Facebook and 1 from YouTube. And so when people are looking up things about CPS, they run across these things on Facebook and YouTube. And then if I'm live, it brings you here. It brings you here. Now, one way is just to be in here listening. Another way is to active participate. And I love that when you guys either text me a message or you call in. Text a message or call in. Now, if you text me a message on here, I will see it. I'll see it and I'll broadcast it on the show. Now, it's got to be a good message. I don't want any clowns in here putting up stupid messages, because I will take that message thing down and I will delete your comment. So everybody's got to be responsible in this room. Now, I'm hoping to help you get your children back. I'm offering you an attorney that will gladly work for you, that is really good at what he does, and he will get your kids back. I know this firsthand because I have somebody that I've followed through all along. His name is David Halago. He was in here this morning. He hired Vincent Davis. After a year, they've won the case, and the daughter will be returned in 6 months. And I've had probably 5 other people too that have used Mr. Davis that I've been following along. I haven't seen some of them, but I know they are. And anyway, I'm going to tell you how you can get Mr. Davis to help you and how to contact him and so forth. Now, besides typing in a question in the form of a question or a comment, it can be a question or a comment, it's got to be about CPS. We're not here to talk about politics. And I do mention some life skills that help you. I do mention life skills because I have a lot of life skills. I've been around for a long time. I'm a dinosaur. So I'm 76 years old. And I've worked for 61 years. I have 43 years of marriage experience. I've raised 6 children and I've helped them. They're all 6 children doing good. They're either in college um, or working out at the workplace and married and having children. They're all in good shape. But sadly, the family as a whole isn't good shape because CPS does do damage. And what's happened to my family, they're still suffering from the damage that CPS does. And it's sad what has happened. And hopefully I can touch on what has happened to your case, but you need to text me a message. Now, if you don't want to talk on the show, or text a message, you can talk on the show. There's 2 ways you can talk on the show. One, by setting up to be a guest. And that is simply you either text me or email me that you want to be on the show. And you want to talk. Then my producer will send you a link how to get on the show. Now, all I need from you, either in the form of a text or an email, is your first and last name, the email and phone number you have, and the place you're from. So first and last name, phone number, email, and the place you're from. That's 4 things. And that's all you have to do. And, depending on how busy you are, but I can take up to 10 people. I've never had it max out. I've had 5 people, as many as 5 people on here at one time. And I'm one of the 10 people, by the way. So I can take 9 guests. 9 plus 1 is 10. So that's another way that you can be on the show. And of course, the last way is if you want a phone call in, I can take phone calls. The only problem is it's limited right now because I need 2 devices to do a complete job of this YouTube show that I do. I need 1 device, which is my phone, and that holds Vonage. Now, it can also hold my application, which is StreamYard, but I cannot use Vonage and StreamYard at the same time. The voice won't work. And I don't think the picture moves either. I think it just pauses. So I use a computer. The downside about a computer is that I have a part that's ordering. It should be in shortly. And I can do that. With the computer. So I can have you on my cell phone and have my computer on the show, live stream wise. And that way, besides texting a message or being a guest, you can also call in and talk on the show. Couple things on the show. We do not eat on the show. We do not read. And anyway, we haven't got any questions yet. I know that I have rooms to come in here, I guess, but I don't see them yet. Huh. Here they are. We have a room from Facebook called the Reality Series of CPS. Then we have Juvenile Dependencies. We have a new member that joined YouTube called Pink Line Radio. And then we got StreamYard, but I don't see where the other comments are coming in. I thought I had 7. I have the reality series, The Law Office of Vincent Davis, Fight CPS with Bob Pace, Relatives Fight CPS, Juvenile Dependency, The Secret How to Fight, and Fight CPS Real Talk with Mrs. G. I have a YouTube room, CPS Defense Attorney Public. So those are my 8 rooms. Facebook has changed. Some of it is not all the same or something like that. I don't know. Okay, I have the comments shown on side here, but boy, my screen is so small, I guess. There we go. I got it open now. It is hard. It is so hard. So you have a case dealing with the child protection system. It's found in every state and every county. So California has 50 counties. They have 50 CPS offices. The offices are in social service. They share the work with social service. Social service is the home organization of CPS. Within social services, you have the child protection services or system there. You also have adult protection system, APS, because there's adults that need to be protected. As they get older, they get less and less. They can depend on themselves. They need help. They need help. And adults do get abused. Adults do get abused, as well as children. Now, this law that was passed that said to protect our children from 2 types, negligence and abuse. Now, negligence is like lack of clothing, lack of food, lack of schooling, lack of going to medical. You're negligent about something. Now, the abuse is either physical or mental. Physical is excessive corporate punishment, leaving welts and marks on your body. Losing control, domestic violence, physical domestic violence. And it could, it's the physical and emotional is kind of like when you scream or yell at somebody. It's kids don't want to hear you scream and yell. You should think about timeout. Timeout is useful, and adults should do timeouts. I think it's great for, 50, 60 years in football. I've seen timeouts. I follow football. I played football. My boys were in football. And, I love the sport of football as well as I love the sport of surfing and rugby, which is another form of football. And I do play soccer. But anyway, besides being an athlete, I'm also talented in many other areas. My background is immense. So a timeout is a process where everything stops and everybody sits down and talks about it. So if you're yelling at a child, at a parent to parent, when you do a timeout, that means you stop what you're doing. With a child, you usually give them 5 to 10 minutes to either sit in a corner or go to your bedroom. I prefer just go to your bedroom and think about it on the bed or something like that. Or if you want to supervise them, maybe set them in a corner. But like in school, when they used the old days of using a dunce cap and sitting on a stool, it was very intimidating. I don't think that's good. I think what you can do is if you're disrupting a class, you take a timeout and go see the principal. You know, if you have bad behavior in class, you go to the principal. That's your timeout and resolve the issue. Now, I usually do 3 strikes, you're out rules with children. But you can be careful about getting rid of privileges and stuff. You got to be careful about giving away privileges. You have to be really careful when you discipline children. You really do. Now, a lot of the times, the accusations will be reported by professionals or lay people. Now, professionals are people that are trained and educated and required by law to report it. And it could be that they take a class or it is. They have a law. They have to. So these people are like doctors and nurses, your school, which would be the teachers, the counselors, the administrators, even the nurse. Those individuals, along with daycare people and firemen and policemen, all these people have to go and take a class and learn how to recognize abuse. And they have to report it. It's required by law. Problem is, they get it right maybe 50% of the time. I mean, it's a 50-50 chance they got the abuse right. And the thing is, it's not necessarily if they don't recognize it right. If it's the way they say things, the way they analyze it. Now, lay people are right about 25% of the time. They're worse than professional. And lay people sometimes have alternative motives and use it against one another. And that was true in my case. I had family members that didn't like me marrying my wife or didn't like me with the children. And they took it upon themselves to call in and do fraudulent reports. They called in and we were abusing our children or neglecting our children. I never accused of abuse, and CPS accuses of abuse is the neglect part. They would say the child doesn't have clothing, or the child is not fed, the child has no supervision, the child has no YouTube. Every time a CPS worker came out, and this happened between 2010 and 2015, I think it was about 2015 when he started. By 2015 on, it was adamant that's what they were trying to do is for whatever reason they wanted revenge. They also wanted their children. You know, you can't buy love. You cannot buy love. No matter how much you try or hard. And raising a family is hard. That's why a timeout is a really good tool. You need to set limits to your children. You need rules, but you're going to get in trouble. And there's one entity out there is bad news. I know that the IRS is a hard agency to deal with. Maybe the state tax board is another one. And you're you have the problem there that you're going to have to be careful because what you say can be used against you. That's why you don't talk to social workers. That's why you don't talk to police. That's why you don't go in. You don't. You don't go in. Now, I don't have a comment. Whoever's in the room, I'm great. I'm glad that you're here. I'd like you to tell me if you hear me okay and you see me okay. That would be great. Again, if you post a comment, put your name, your first name only, and where you're located, city, and your state or your city and your country. Now, this all boils around of getting an attorney. That's what your goal is when you get involved with CPS is having an attorney. There's three types of attorneys. Not their backgrounds, but what kind of attorneys are. You have a paid attorney, then you have a court appointed attorney, and then you have a pro bono attorney. Now, the areas of law that these three types of attorneys should be in should be dependency law, which is strictly about CPS, family law, and juvenile law. Family law, juvenile law, and dependency law all go hand in hand. And it's really important that you have an attorney that meets that requirement. Okay, now, to get the attorney, the reason being is you do not know the law. And that's why you need to get the attorney. You have to know the law. And the attorney that I'm offering you, his name is Vincent W. Davis. And he is trained in dependency law, family law, juvenile law. He has over 40 years of fighting cases. He just completed for David Hilago, who's one of my frequent visitors here, who came to my room a year ago or something. He wanted an attorney. So I told him Vincent Davis would help you. He went and contacted Mr. Davis. Now, the number to contact Mr. Davis, the best way is to call the office. This number being tailed at the bottom of my page, 888-888-6582. That's the number of the office. And when you reach the office, make sure you tell the people working the desk, answer the phones, that Bob Pace sent you, that you need to speak to Mr. Davis. And when you speak to Mr. Davis, you can say that Bob Pace sent you. That way, Mr. Davis knows you're one of the people that I'm hustling for him to represent. And you'll be no regretting representing him because he has fought CPS and gotten people back. He's trained in the right area of the law, dependency law, family law, and juvenile law. He's also a trial attorney. He's a criminal attorney. And he's a civil rights attorney where you want to sue somebody, he can help you with the lawsuit and be able to win millions of dollars. So he's really good. He's home based in Arcadia. That's where his office is. He works out of LA County. LA County is called the Department. We got that. I don't know why my picture is dropping on and off. I got a new internet going. So hopefully when I give the password, it'll be set up right. It'll be set up right. Um, So with Vincent Davis, he knows how to fight CPS. See, CPS are not honest. They're not truthful. You're like Alice in Wonderland, and you met the Chester Cat, and when you fell in the rabbit hole, then met the Chester Cat, and you go from room to room. And nothing makes sense to you going from room to room. Nothing makes sense. But he knows how to maneuver CPS. It's very complex and very hard. Now, I tried to fight CPS on my own. I tried with a court appointed attorney. I got nowhere because court appointed attorneys are not dependency law attorneys or family law or juvenile law attorneys. They mostly are criminal attorneys. Well, a criminal attorney doesn't know dependency law. But anyway, he knows the areas. Not only that, he knows how to do civil lawsuits and criminal too. Now, his retainer for LA County is $5,000. His hourly wages is $550 that he'll charge as billable on a tenth of an hour, tenth of hour billing, and it's $550 an hour, and it's okay. Oh, I wanted to tell you that if you want to go to Wisconsin or Georgia, it's $125 retainer. The reason why it's more is that you got to cover the license to do in that state, the cost of license. Then on top of that, you got the transportation to get to there, the you got air transportation, ground transportation, and then you got hotel accommodations, and you got food to eat out because he's away from home. So that's why the added expenses come into play. So that's what he thinks based on your case. Now, when he does your case, that's the first person you should call. There are rules that I made that should be followed. You should never open your door to anybody. You should never talk to social workers. I mean, what you need to do. One moment, please. One moment. Okay, hold on. Yeah, I'm there. I had to step away for a moment. Again, I have only one device and two devices if I want to search the internet or do another thing. I'm trying to do StreamYard as best I can from the device I have. But this attorney will save your life. Without it, you're going to lose your children. And, you know, these three types of attorneys, the pro bono, the paid one, and the court appointed ones, all have advantages and disadvantages. The paid attorney costs too much money. The pro bono usually is not well trained, and they don't do a very good job. And the court-appointed attorney is forced. They're not trained in that area of law. They're fresh out of law school or just passed the bar exam, and they're trying to look for work. And they're given so much work they don't have time for people. Given 30 to 50 cases, and you can't talk to all 50 people at once. So you end up scheduling times, and the only time they meet you is when they meet at the hallways at the courthouse. And that's a sad thing. That's a sad thing. Now, it's very important you have this attorney, and you need to get at least 3 attorneys. What you want to do is find 5 and then interview 3 and then hire. I mean, you may want to find 5 and interview 5 and then hire 3. Well, I don't mean hire, but make your decision on which one of the 3. The reason being is you have to see your chemistry. You want to make sure you have okay chemistry and that they could help defend you and so forth. Help defend. Now, with Vincent, I've already given you his prices. I've already told his qualifications. And he is the man for the job. But the money may be a problem for you. Now, I've seen retainers from $1,000 to $10,000. It all depends on the person. I've seen rates at $100 an hour to $1,000 an hour. Now, Vincent is somewhere in the middle range, and he's good for every dime. He gives you 110%. You may not understand, or you may not think things are going right, but he is working good behind the scenes. He's an excellent attorney, and you should call into the office at 888-888-6582. Make sure you tell him that Bob Pace sent you, and also when you speak to Miss Davis, tell him that Bob Pace sent you. You're going to speak to a receptionist who probably is going to tell you to call back at a certain time or take your name and number and get back to you on that. But he does respond, and he will help you. He really cares about his people. Sometimes he cares too much. And it all will come out there and so forth. Now, I was talking earlier about coming to the door. That's the area where we always screw up. We want to open the door to any stranger. Well, keep this in mind. There's too many people being killed open the door. I know about the black woman in LA that shot 5 times in the face, or the black Air Force man that was shot 5 times in the chest. There's the lady in Arizona, Mrs. Guthrie. Her mom was taken. They still not found her. It's been over 2 months of being missing. It's all because he answered the door. Because you don't know your constitutional rights. By law, you don't have to answer your door. Now, they can enter your place. There's an ongoing bad project taking place. And answering the door will give you lots of problems because you're going to open your mouth and you're going to tell them something because I screwed up. I should never have opened the door. I should never have talked to them. I thought by being open and honest, they'd be open and honest, but they're not open and honest. As I told you, you're like Alice in Wonderland. You go the rabbit hole, the cat said, this room, that room, you go room to room, going nowhere. Going nowhere. Um, so if you did let them in there, then you need to ask them, is this a legal matter? Or if you see them outside and they approach you, ask them, is it a legal matter? If it's a legal matter, you can say, hold on, I can't talk to you until I have my attorney present. The Constitution of the United States guarantee involved. And that means from day one. It isn't from the court date or anything else. You got to understand your legal rights. You got to really understand your legal rights. You got to understand your legal rights. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. I have some internet problems. I just switched over my internet today, and I'm trying to use my phone. It should be okay. Um, Whoever that person has been in my room the whole time, I'd like you to say hi to me or hello or what I can do for you. I want to know if you hear me okay or see me okay, or I need some feedback to help me. I've been doing this show now for 2 years. I really care about every one of you. I want to help you out. But in order to have you help yourself, ask me ask me questions. I'll see this and I help you out on there. Now I'm talking about things I think you like to hear. But if you want me to talk about other things like what is an ICWA Act of 1979, what is three emotion 38, emotion 180 hearing, a 160 hearing. There's so many things I can talk about. I can talk about the rules. I made 5 rules that you need to do if you want to, hang on your children, keep your children, or what not to do. There's so much stuff that people would do wrong. I did wrong. I did wrong. I should have got an attorney right off the bat. I should never be a court-appointed attorney. It's a bad mistake. It's a bad mistake. I should never let him in my home. Again, it's another bad mistake. I'm trying to say these things so you don't make the same mistakes as I did and end up in the same issues that I issued and so forth. But it's really, 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 really hard. And I know it's hard for you. You love your kids and they've been wrongly taken from you. And on top of that, biological parents are the best parents to raise kids. Studies have shown that parents are. Now, if a parent's bad, they take parenting classes or programs to rehab the best. Parents, there's feed and take care of you. There's all kinds of parenting classes you can take too, that will help you. Now, there's another area you need to be cautious about. That's the hospital or urgent care. In urgent care and at the hospital or emergency room, there are social workers who will hang out there and they'll take your children for medical neglect. That means they overhear you talk to a doctor. And I have a perfect case in point where that happened. I had a family come in a room and they were accused of medical neglect where they weren't trying to take care of their daughter. They had taken their daughter in and the daughter complained of chest pains to her left side, not her right side. But apparently the hospital, that one there, thought it was her appendix and the appendix had to be removed. And the parents said, whoa, wait a minute, we need a second opinion. And they're smart. You should always get medical opinions when you're going to remove something. So they want to do so. A social worker steps in, says, no, you're not. You're going to have that appendix removed. Otherwise, we're going to charge you with medical neglect. Now, that's a big, hard thing to swallow because the parents don't know who's CPS. CPS acts like they're God. They don't have any respect for people. And this is 50% of the agencies of CPS. 50%. You're lucky if you find anything good after 50%. So it is really hard with his medical so they're at urgent care emergency rooms and they overheard it. And so they forced the parents to have the appendix removed. Well, they took the child home. The child was only 4 years old. And the child was still complaining of horrible pain. So they went to another hospital and found out that she had gallstones. They did x-rays. The first hospital only did an MRI. They made a mistake. But the mistake is her appendix was taken out. And that's an important organ. That's an important organ. I have to look it up again. I forgot what's so important. But you're not supposed to remove your appendix, just like tonsils. They tell you no longer remove tonsils. And that used to be a well-known thing in the 40s, in the 30s. You always remove tonsils. I mean, that being said, it was like it was really hard. It really was hard there. And hold on a second. Find the other part of medical trafficking is the come in to have a baby. A lot of times you go and have a baby, but you can make sure you set it up right. You don't need police in there. You don't need social workers in your birthing room. Now, the reason why they're coming in there, they're hanging out and they overhear and if you test positive, they're supposed to, they think automatically they take your child, they can't. and they can't force the policeman. It has to be a court order to take children. They can't. If there's only three ways they can take your child, or three ways to get in your home, or three ways to talk to you. I don't know, or three search your home. I mean, first is get your permission. If they get your permission, then they can, they can talk to you. As far as taking the child, if you give them their permission, they'll take the child, but they don't have to. Now, if there's a danger to the kid and a crime's being committed at the time, the policeman will bust into your home or the social, because they are concerned about the well-being of the child. But they have to have a court order. They have to have what's called a document. It's a document that explains what they can do. And it has to be investigated by a judge and signed by a judge. And this important document, is being abused by the police and abused by CPS. CPS police are not truthful. And I'm only talking 50% of the entities. Now, I don't know which 50% the policemen are bad or for which ones the social service. I know that LA County, Riverside County, San Bernardino County, Orange County are really bad. I know Santa Barbara County is bad. I can go on and on. To say there's 50 counties in California, I think half of them are bad. And that's sad too, because it's, this is real critical. Your children mean a lot to you. And you shouldn't have to, your children are best to be raised by biological parents. Now, if the parents screw up, there's ways you can get your corrections done. Take parenting classes. You can take programs like drug rehab or domestic violence program. And some of these are long. Domestic violence is 52 weeks, so it's a year. So if you have to do domestic violence, you got at least a year with CPS. A year with CPS. So anyway, they're going to try to take your child. And if you say, get out of here, wait in the lobby, do you have a court order? Do you have a court order that tells you out specifically? And on that court order, it's got to have the name of the wet signature of the judge, the name of the person being accused or persons, there could be a mother, wife, the allegations, and the list of children. Further, the date that's on there's got to be the date that the judge is in session. A lot of times they get old warrants, old court warrants, and they have the old dates in there. And see, that's a telltale sign. It's got to be a weekday and a weekday holiday. A lot of times weekdays are holidays. So, good clue that the warrant's going to be good. So that's one way they can talk to you or think, because they'll give specific instructions. They'll say, you can take the child, you can search the house, you can talk to the so-and-so. That's what they need is a court order, a court order. And CPS workers and police can get them. But sometimes I think they give them out too leniently because the judges are corrupt. It's so hard when you deal with a corrupt system. And it needs to be corrected. It needs to be fixed. And I hope the Department of Justice does a good job about checking out because a lot of wasteful spending is there. Anyway, we have about 10 minutes to my show time, and I do want to talk about some other things. There's a notebook that you need to put together. Now keep all your documents. It's 6 inches thick. It should have dividers that separate the documents. You can label the document. You should put all your court papers, your social service papers, your school papers, all the papers relating to the case. There's one paper you need to create yourself. It's called the timeline incident log. The timeline incidents to keep track of all the incidents that have happened since the CPS accused you. And it should be done in chronicle dated order. And then the timeline incident log, you need to devote 3 lines on a sheet of notebook paper. You start at the top and you go 3 lines and make the next 3 lines, the next 3 lines. And also skip lines between the 3 lines. So the first line is going to have the date and time of the incident, and it's going to describe so-and-so met with so-and-so, and they had this to discuss, whatever it is. So again, you put it, you process it through, and that will protect you, this timeline, because you will not remember 6 months, 8 months, a year from now what took place. You will not remember. You will not remember. And it'd be useful to use it for your attorney and for the judge in court. Because after 60 or 30 incidents, you have a lot there. Now, there's 2 other forms you need to generate. One is called, well, I already talked about the one, the timeline incident. I just forgot. The second, okay, after you put the phone number of the place, the incident involved, then you put the names of the people involved. There'd be you and the person that was contacting your kids, whatever. You put the names of the people. The names of the people there. Then the next line is what the incident was about. This is a 1-sentence simple answer. Should only take up 1 line. What was the incident about? Then lastly, you should put the outcome of the incident. You may not know the outcome. You may not know the outcome. So with that being said, you're going to have to come back later and fill it out. Now, the other document is called a journal, and that's something you should get that you can write in. And you should be addressing your children, because you don't know whether or not you'll still be around or what will happen. But you got to have a record of what took place, because they're going to be confused and they'll love you for it. You just put down, dear so-and-so, I want to let you know I'm working real hard to get you back. You see, they're not going to tell you those things. They're not going to, CPS is not going to help you. They're going to blindside you. They're not your friend. They're not your friend. And they will blindside you. And that's terrible when they do blindside you, because they just don't. I mean, I was very blessed to have 2 of my 3 children returned. Now, I had 3 of my 6 children taken. The other 3 were out on their own, so they weren't at home at the time. The other 3 were in school. I'd picked up one of the child, my son, who was in 5th grade at the time. And he was at 9 years of age, and I just recently picked him up, and I did not know that someone was following me. A police was involved by CPS. They got tired of hearing me and coming out, and I keep telling them that's not true, that's not true, that's not true. And they get tired of it, so they came out and they started to cause all kinds of problems. So he ordered me to come back to the house, and I said, I need to pick up my wife. I should have told him, give me the ticket or the violation of promise to appear. But he wouldn't do that. He says I had to come back to the house. Why? He wanted to trick me further and get me to open my house. But like a fool, I did. I came back here, and I have a couple hours before I have to do another transaction. But now, as I say that today has been a real hectic day. I had a water line break. I had my new service come in, and I have also a vertical that I've been dealing with and stuff. So if I look a little dizzy or stuff like that, it's only because of the vertical, but I'm fine. And I'm plenty awake, and I'm, thinking this thing out. It's really hard because nobody's talking today. This is one of the rare times that I've talked and talked and talked, and no one's talking. And I don't know if anybody's listened to me or heard me, or if the program's good or bad or whatever. I see myself move around. I see my voice. I see the time ticking down. I know the volume is up. I got full volume, and I had trouble with on my phone's internet. My phone actually is connected, but I'm not using the Wi-Fi. I always try to do the Wi-Fi, and I got a new one, but I got to enter the password and stuff like that. But without an attorney, you're going to have a hard time with your pro bono or your payback attorney, because I don't know what you can do to so I'm going to have a video come on, and you'll be able to listen to the video. It's a good video. But please, if you need an attorney, call Vincent Davis at 888-888-6582. Tell the people that answer the phone that you want to speak to Mr. Davis, and tell them that Bob Pace sent you. And if you talk to Mr. Davis, make sure you tell him that Bob Pace sent you. That's really, really, really important. We'll be on again at 6 p.m. today. 6 p.m. today. I'm on 3 times a day. So it's 1 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's all Pacific Standard Time. Pacific Standard Time. I want to thank you all for listening. I hope there was people in here. I see, I see a number. I see no emojis, but I appreciate you in here. I just wish you could have announced something there. I wish you could announce something there. So, with that set up, I'm going to sign out, and you're going to hear the video. God bless you all. Have a beautiful day. I do care. Don't give up your children. Don't give up. Here comes the live video.
A vivid picture is encrypted in your mind as the critics get in line like they're witnessing a crime. But then you notice there's a shiver in your spine from the feelings of discontentment and bitterness combined. Heartbroken when you listen to the judges, another kid's innocence corrupted. And if you go against it, it's destructive. Consider this predicament the toughest, but we believe in a system fit for justice. Child Protective Services only pretends to save it. The one solution for this is worthy of instant praises. 30 years of experience with relentless cases. Allow me to introduce them. This is Vincent Davis, defending you when they don't think a mother fits the role. Is it juvenile dependency or government control? Observe the pain in their eyes. It's time for us to realize we are the last ones left. Put your faith